literally making think we should move to the fourth Tuesday of the month. This is like very strong attendance. So really glad to have you guys all here on a month that we've changed the date too. So thank you all for coming, and I guess everybody got the word that we changed it. And it was just some scheduling things with this venue, but we'd love feedback if this was better. I don't know. I'm glad to have you guys all here. We have a little coffee with I think staffing downstairs, and so if you didn't get coffee, there is more coming. Okay, so if I see it, I'll try to make a quick announcement. You can slip back there and grab some because I know how it is, and it is in our title. So coffee is very important, and we recognize that. So there will be more coffee coming. But my name is Hope McCutcheon, and I'm one of the hosts today. Raise your hand if this is your first time at Ce2. Awesome. So glad to have you guys. I want to just tell you a little bit about the event. We have been going on since 2015, going strong even through the pandemic. That's something we're pretty proud of. We were able to transition online through the pandemic, and we came back live. We want to thank Quickest Co-working for hosting us in this venue. We used to do with the IRA. How this event is structured is every month. It's typically the third Tuesday of the month, except for December. And we have two speakers. We have an early stage speaker, which shares about their company, and then they have an ask for the audience. They actually have the opportunity to participate and help them grow their business and give them ideas based on what their specific ask is. And then after that, we have a seasoned entrepreneur that shares their crash and learn stories. So things that they learn the hard way on the entrepreneurial journey. It's not always the type of things that you get to see, you know, in different articles and whatnot. So it's just really cool to hear sharing around some lessons they learned along their journey. And so we specifically chose two female entrepreneurs for the month of March, and we're really excited about that. And it wasn't hard to find female entrepreneurs, which I'm also thankful for. But I'm glad that these two are going to be here to share today. So I wanted to just real quick thank our hosting organizations, which are CBIC, Shelter Business Innovation Council, CIC, Community Investment Collaborative, the STDC, Small Business Development Center, and then also our sponsors, the Matt Institute, EBA, and Work Art Design. And we are starting about 10 minutes later than we usually do because of the coffee, and so we try to end at like 9:35, 9:40, so you can socialize with the end of that. If you might want to more like 9:45, 9:50, because we want to make sure we do more speakers, but we do have this space till 10. So you can chat a little bit more at the end, and like I said, when I see the coffee, come back early. So sound good? You guys ready? Okay, cool. If you're not participating now, you will as we go. So I wanted to first introduce our early stage entrepreneur, Navya. And she is from the Northern Virginia area. She's actually UVA's second year. And she started her company esSTEMtials when she was just 15 years old. And she did that because she saw that traditional K-12 education really promoted rote memorization, and she wanted to really make an impact to change that. So with her company that she'll be telling you about, they've impacted over 300 students, just really getting stellar reviews from parents and students, 95% from parents, 97% from the students in terms of their connected with the program. And she also, at UVA, is co-created founders of UVA, which is the community for student entrepreneurs to connect, swap insights, and uplift each other in their ventures. She comes from a family I know that is very supportive, and she loves to learn about people's stories. She plays volleyball. She's very impressive. Actually, we met for coffee one day, and I'm just so impressed by her that I asked her to come and share with you guys. So please help me welcome Navya.
Thank you all for coming out here today. I'm Navya, and I'm the founder of esSTEMtials, where we aim to ignite curiosity among all the youth that we see every single day. So first, I want you all to raise your hand if you've ever had to memorize facts for a test, certification, or a job. So similar to most of you, the K-12 education system actually runs on this idea of memorizing the facts, simply take tests, and then forget about those facts right after tests. Because K-12 runs on this platform or this idea, we result in a new phenomenon of many students raising their hands. And when students raise their hands, they start to ask why. Okay, that says but why. But students start asking but why. Why are we learning what we're learning? Why do I need to know this? And most importantly, why do I need to be at school today to learn this information I'm going to forget right after test tomorrow?
Do you know what? Yeah, just do it like that. Just do it like that. Perfect. Thank you.
So students start to ask questions about why, and just like everyone in here, humans are innately born with a sense of curiosity. Curiosity in our modern day world is scientifically defined as a desire to seek information when something is unknown, and a preference to explore and gather information. When scientifically studied, many students give anecdotes about how they're dissatisfied with the schooling system. Specifically, one student said, "No one is curious about what we learn in class. We just need to do whatever teachers tell us to do." While another student said, "There's nothing to be curious about because we just learn whatever we're assigned to do." And if these anecdotes don't tell you enough about how dissatisfied students are with the schooling system, we have more statistics to show that. In the United States, 84% of students reported that schooling does not have any practical use case in their everyday lives. In fact, 42% of parents in the United States also report they're dissatisfied with K-12 schooling and education. Similar to these students and these parents, I've experienced the same journey. I was brought up with a love of learning. I love reading books, watching documentaries, and just asking questions about everything surrounding me. And further, upon attending school and asking questions in classrooms for presentations and assignments, I've always refused my answers, hearing answers such as, "You don't need to know this on tests," or "This goes beyond our standards of learning." So similar to all of you and the students who are facing this phenomenon, I also raised my hand and asked why. Why can't we discuss this information, and why can't we go beyond the curriculum and just learn more? This led me to found my company, esSTEMtials. esSTEMtials is a program for students to learn unique set of topics in very engaging ways. Specifically, we are focused on 3 methods to make this engaging. 1, hands-on learning. 2, collaboration. And 3, and most importantly, excitement. In doing so, we hope to change the way that our youth approaches the world. In 2 ways. First, we want students to recognize and become comfortable with their uncertainties. And second, we want students to seek information to resolve their curiosities instead of being refused answers. I first launched this at the age of 15, as Hope mentioned, as an in-person program where students can learn unique and niche STEM topics. In doing so, we received over 100 registrations for our in-person program, and we had students who really wanted to attend the program. However, within a week of launching and marketing, COVID-19 hit. And as many of you know, COVID-19 shut down many small businesses and startups. However, for us, we saw this as an opportunity to move virtual and meet new people and promote our program. By doing so, we created a virtual program where students would attend weekly meetings and learn more about niche topics through experimental simulations, derivation, and group activities. And in fact, going virtual actually helped us. We were able to scale beyond just my hometown of Loudoun County, and we actually received over 300 students by scaling, both nationally and internationally. This past summer, I realized it was time to go back to in-person and promote my original mission of hands-on learning and engagement. And we had an in-person program in Loudoun County, Virginia, and this is our minimum viable product for our actual initial mission and goal. As you can see here, these are 3 images from this past summer of an in-person program. The first represents students working together to create some sort of designed for a technology that can understand the brain through sensors and sending information to laptops. And these are students who are 8 to 12 years old working together, creating our first fundamental of teamwork and piecing together the parts of their brain to create a new system to measure the brain. The second image shows you a candy version of DNA made from Twizzlers, Sunbursts, and toothpicks. And this represents our second fundamental of engagement. We have a principle of no paper, no pen, and no presentation to ensure students are always engaged in the real world and then working with each other to derive new concepts. And last but not least, we always want students to come into our meetings expecting the unknown factor, expecting not knowing what's going to go on, and most importantly, expecting to explore. Here, students were given a task to create a tower using wood that can withstand some sort of weight and that had to be set in some way. Students worked together, not knowing what angle to create this wood at, where to cement the glue, or even how many wood pieces to use, but they were excited to explore this unknown factor. That was a matter of most to us. Seeing that we are operating a lot in this education system, K-12 education, we have placed ourselves in the education market respectively. As you can see here, our total addressable market of worldwide students in the K-12 sector approaches $103.5 billion. And our current serviceable table market of students who are ages 8 to 12 who we've been working with in the United States is $1.15 billion. As you can see, this market is very immense and constantly growing, yet such a great percentage of students and parents are dissatisfied, and we want to fix this now so students can be curious explorers for the future and they can actually change the way that they view this world. As I previously mentioned, we had over 300 students in our program virtually, and we were able to scale because this is on a technology. However, upon scaling back into this in-person version, we want to host hands-on activities. We realized we couldn't accommodate to all 300 students, both across the country and internationally. Because doing so would mean that we need new infrastructure in many cities. We need a personally recruited instructors across all these cities to go in person and work hands-on. We need to appeal to various different communities and demographics across all these cities to look into. And we had to work with many different schools that we don't know yet, and there's many more hurdles to come along the way. Lastly, this leads you to my asks for this presentation. First, I want to convert esSTEMtials into an EdTech program, so we can appeal to at least 300 plus students in a technology version that everyone can access. Specifically, over these past 2 months, I talked to schools such as those in Charlottesville about going B2B and distributing via their schools and their students. So in doing so, I want to convert from in-person to a B2B SaaS platform. Second, I want to learn more about the go-to-market strategy through EdTech. I believe I have approached many students and parents who went the in-person version. If I can learn more about what customers to target and what demographics to look into, I can also co-create with those customers and learn what they really need and what they see being prioritized on this platform. And lastly, co-creation partnerships. I want to learn about what schools I can partner with or who I can work with to create this develop this platform in a way that seems the most appealing to schools. I'd love to partner with other tech firms or funding firms that really know the EdTech space better than I do. And once again, my name is Navya, and this is contact information. And lastly, our main mission at esSTEMtials is to put a smile on every single face of our students, and I hope I've accomplished that for all of you today. Thank you.
I know you guys know something like that. I see here. You guys are sharing us as entrepreneur, and so we may not have time to cover all of her asks, so I definitely agree on the contact information and get back in touch with her if your idea doesn't, get spoken about. But we do have 2 mics to each other, so if you guys can give insight into these 3 asks, that would help her.
You're in the wrong state. There are a lot of states that are big on charter schools and those sorts of programs, not Virginia. And in the charter school state, you get lots of takers. I'm not sure you should move or anything like that, but definitely you find more willingness to experiment with your ideas in the charter school state.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I've actually talked to school systems in New York and California and Texas mainly. It's just a matter of how I would actually approach them in person, just because I don't know the demographics the same way that those school administrators will know them.
Hi there, Navya. Fantastic presentation. I was curious if you were already familiar with an organization called Ce2.
I'm actually not.
Okay, I emailed you just now. I would really like to connect you with the founder of Ce2, Chris Cody. This is an organization that is here in Virginia and specifically designed to teach educators the process of teaching STEM to the lower K through 12. They are connected with politicians, state politicians, as well as many school organizations and the other student hall. It would be a great concept for you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll definitely follow up about that as well.
Sure, Shannon, you have something?
Sure, main issue to bring to.
We're gonna use the mic because we're recording, so we'll go here and then come back to you.
Great presentation, Navya. That was really phenomenal. I wish I was that confident as I said.
Thank you.
So we talked about convergence in tech. Are there any platforms that you've investigated already that exist that you really like to model?
Yeah, so I've grown up loving Khan Academy. I know most students haven't, but I feel like it's very niche and make sure that you can master its topic at hand before moving on to the next one. I think their course map is very interesting because they have so many topics available. However, I feel like that is a little daunting to students around the world. And so I think I would want to model the Khan Academy approach for sure, like really honing in on unique special topics, like understand the why behind what you're teaching. Because their style Khan has always explained the why and not just, oh, like, here's how you do it. But I do think that I would want to improve that in a certain way too, because that is very video based and I want it to be more engagement based and activity based. So that's kind of my caveat to Khan Academy.
Second question to that is, do you envision it being a synchronous or asynchronous platform and done by individual or done collaboratively?
So I think actually a mix of everything you said. I think I would want it to be asynchronous at first for students to learn more about how they can engage with content that's always static. So for example, if we're teaching epidemiology, we've used case cards before where different instructors would have COVID, and then the students have to navigate through and figure out who started getting COVID first and how it transformed. So all that could be done asynchronously since it would be a same activity for all students. But I would love to also have that hands-on interactive synchronous portion to it where they can actually instructors talk to them and they kind of guide them through new ways of thinking. That would be more personalized as well. So the students already mastering all these topics, we can guide them through new questions to spike their curiosity in and go beyond the typical curriculum. And speaking more of your collaborative nature, I would love for it to be collaborative, but I do think students first have their individual experience of being piqued in their curiosity, and then once they're piqued and more interested in the content, they can work with people who are also piqued and interested in the content and want to work together to kind of explore beyond what's being said in the curriculum.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Just want to tell you guys that a copy, there's more copy here if you want one or two at a time, so that can get more, this is the time. If I can pass them in.
What's your main issue with the B2B of your first issue?
So I think working just B2B without the tech part is I think schools run very slowly. I observed that over the past 3 or 4 months just in Charlottesville alone, where not just Charlottesville, I guess, even Loudoun County and a few other school districts where it takes a lot for them to say, yes, we want this and we actually will execute it, because a lot of times they think, oh, we're interested, but not go beyond that. So I think that communication is lacking with schools, no matter how much you're trying to connecting to schools. And then I think just being able to approach districts would be much easier than individual schools.
So you already had an idea for how the SET product's gonna work?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
You already have an idea for how the SET product's gonna work, but you know.
In terms of SaaS in general for maybe. Yeah, so I have a brief idea that's been inspired by professors at UVA about how we can deliver SaaS to different schools. And a lot of it is that district method where if one district buys out the software, then they apply it to all their schools. So again, if we can distribute via districts and not just schools, I think that would be the best SaaS distribution to follow.
Great job on your presentation. Have you heard of Tech Girls here in Charlottesville?
I think I have, yes.
Yeah, it's a great in-person event that sounds a lot like what you do. And there's another company you should explore called Explore Learning. It's a Charlottesville founded online platform that teaches STEM like this as well. And I think you can learn a lot from them, especially if you're thinking about how to reach school systems and just how they grew and deployed their software.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Anybody else? Okay.
Historian here. I will speak to number 2, the go-to-market strategy. I don't know if you thought about targeting other non-school educational outlets, but whether you're doing that or you're just targeting school systems, you might be benefited by thinking a bit more about, say, pedagogical history regarding teaching and learning in the sciences. I think you're already all over it with regard to the hands-on aspect, but something like a story about, I don't know, Isaac Newton learning science, or, kids playing with chemistry set. You're getting at a core aspect of the way that humans like to learn. And just dropping a couple names or anecdotes might give your story a bit more punch and just that immediate visceral appeal that's going to connect to parents or educators or other stakeholders. Great job.
No, thank you so much. I think that's an amazing feedback. I'm definitely integrated into my business storytelling this year.
Awesome. Thank you again, Navya. Hopefully this is valuable to you. Definitely, like we said, there's our contact information, stay in touch with her. I know she's also on LinkedIn. So, okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we will transition to our crash and learn, and not to be misstated as crash and burn, by the way. So our crash and learn speaker has a great name. Her name is Hope Lawrence. So a little partial there, but Hope grew up in Fauquier County. She went to JMU for her undergraduate degree in finance, and actually got her CFA. So she was in the financial world for a little while. She was product manager for Standard & Poor's in New York and Fitch Ratings in London. Then she came to this area and founded Hudson Henry Baking Company. Has anyone ever tried Hudson Henry Baking granola? So good. If you haven't, it's so good. So she is the founder of that company. The namesake is her 2 sons, Hudson and Henry. And she started in 2012, and what began in just the Charlottesville city market grew to a brand that's sold across the country. And as a matter of fact, it was recognized 6 Sophie Awards, which is kind of like the Oscars of packaged goods, which is pretty cool. And it was featured on the Today Show as a favorite of Kathy Lee. And who is a favorite things. She sold the business in 2022, moved a little bit closer to Charlottesville and Keswick, and now is an instructor with CSC, their signature program, which you'll hear a little bit more about later today. She's also an SBDC advisor, a project manager for Ministry Central, and has her own side gig, if you will, really helping other entrepreneurs in this small batch space. So that company is called Small Batch Empire. Hope is married with 2 kiddos, as I said earlier, and just really has been doing really impactful things since what she learned from her business. So she's going to share about lessons on the hard way on her journey. So help me welcome Hope Lawrence.
Thank you so much. I would say that you're only second that I've met in my life. The first one arrived in middle school when I was, I don't know, like 7th grade, all of a sudden this girl shows up in grade, so let's live it. So thank you all so much for coming. I'm going to talk about my granola years, and this was literally the 5 kinds of granola, secondary granola, and this is my story. So I like to start with my motto, and this is actually on every bag that's in your granola. Do your best, be kind, dream big. And I think that, I don't know, I just try to nail those things. And I teach those things to my boys, especially the dreaming bit, and also when I talk to other girls, females, women. And I think that dreaming big means different things to different people, and we'll talk about what my dream was. Also gratitude, like I think I'm a much nicer person than I used to be. I write a lot about gratitude, and example of this, like my business was in Palmyra, and we had the tiniest post office, and I would go with my boxes and boxes of mail. And I think the old code would have like fumed about that. Oh my gosh, this line, blah, blah, blah. And then under gratitude, I would say like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that there's a post office 5 minutes from my house. And I'm so grateful that the woman is working, as fast as she can. So I don't know, it really just helped me. And again, something I try to do is something I try to teach my boys. And then also, and this will help you today, I try to remember like so what. And so when I'm teaching or when I'm doing my marketing, my materials or whatever, I try to keep in mind like so what, like who cares, like so what. So anyway, as I talk today, I'll try to remember that. And hopefully the so what out of today will be, a little bit of inspiration and education, and hopefully helpful to you. So just real quick, so we'll talk about my story, my highlight reel, lessons learned. I'll talk about the sale of my company, which has lots of questions about, and then take any questions from you. So my dream, actually, should we do? Yeah, let's do my story real quick, and then we'll come back to my dream. So as I mentioned, I went to JMU, and then I had summer jobs that really changed my life. So I was a pretty, I wouldn't say poor kid, like we had enough, but my dad was a farmer, my mom worked for Paul Mellon in Upperville as a secretary, and grew up on a farm. And so, I got into JMU and I had summer jobs. And so one was with Alexander Farkas from old New York. He owned Alexander's department stores and took me to, I was in Monte Carlo for a month, and then I was in LA for a month, and then a lot in the Hamptons. And then another family that I worked for was 2 summers in the Hamptons. And I met a female stockbroker, and it just really opened my eyes as a pretty poor kid of what life could be like. And my husband, he's Australian, we lived all over, so DC, Sydney, Denver, New York, London, et cetera. My first job was with Stratton & Ponce, so the Wolf of Wall Street was my very first job. Not in New York, I have to say, I was in the Maryland office, so it wasn't as intense as the movie. Where I got my Series 7. We moved to Australia, financial advisors, S&P product manager, Fitch product manager in London. And then I was done. I was like, I'm done. And I became a mom, took 5 years off, and then I'm like, I'm gonna start a company. We're gonna move back to Virginia. I'm going to do something. So my eureka moment, I was like, I actually thought I was gonna make posters, was my brilliant idea. So I was reading all like the inspirational messages and blogs, and I was like, wouldn't it be great? Well, that was my first thought. I was like, I'm gonna make posters of like these, like the hang in there, the cat like hanging in there. That was my big brilliant idea. Luckily, I didn't go with that. But my eureka moment was, I was like, well, wouldn't it be great if everyone started their day reading these types of things rather than the dreary reviews? What if you started your day like inspirational messages? So I was like, great, and I was always a baker, right? As a kid, my dad used to say, like, do we have any candy cake, pie, ice cream, cookies in the house? It was always in that order. I always thought that was a great name for a bakery. Candy cake, pie, ice cream, cookies. And so I made it. And so everything was made from scratch. So I was a baker. I was like, great, I'm gonna put those inspirational messages on the back of the granola bag. And the original product name was actually Good News Granola. And that's what it is. It's inspirational messages on the back of the granola bag. So now we'll go back a little bit.
So, and I went on the back end, so the inspirational message, and they said something like, you know, my dream is to live in the country, spend my days baking, live a good life, buy a Jeep with wood panels, which I haven't done, and get on the Today Show. So I actually put that on the back. My other dream was never to work in a cubicle again. Like London kind of killed me. So I was like, I don't want to do that again. Although at times after I started the granola company, I used to think like, oh my gosh, if I could just go into an office for one day, because I had a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old at the time. If I could just get away for a minute and work a solid day in the office, would have been fantastic. But I wanted to stay at home with the boys. I was older. Hudson was born when I was like 37. Make a good living from the business. So it wasn't a huge dream. Like that was the plan. My husband used to work offshore with the oil companies, like piloting unmanned submarines. And so we're like, let's move to Virginia, do something, which the something was still in kind of at that time. And that was it. And so this is Henry. That is boxes of granola that were shipping. I don't know why that long box was there, but it's getting run over by the cart. But my big goal, so when I started the company, especially being a product manager for S&P Fish, I always had goals that I was working for. So I'm like, great. I think it was like 4% of women, their business is only 4% of women's businesses say $2 million in annual revenue. So I'm like, great, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get to $1 million in revenue. That's gonna be my goal. So we started the company, or I started the company. So as a result, I started vision. So my first, it was like October at the Charlotte City Market. I took 20 bags of granola. I was quite sure that I was gonna come down to like 19 after, eating one for a snack myself. But I sold out. And my first customer, true story, was the lady from Greenwood Gourmet out in Crozet. And she's like, this is great, thanks. She's like, do you sell wholesale? And I'm like, and then in my head, I'm like, I don't even know what that means. And I'm like, yeah, I will, a bit. So figured that out. Feast was my first store. Kate and I actually went to grade school together. We were best friends, like spend the night at each other's houses type best friends. And when the man was inspecting my kitchen, he's like, oh, you've got to go to Feast. I'm like, yeah. We had just moved to Charlottesville. We bought an old 1830s farmhouse in Palmyra. So that's where the granola company was. There was a commercial kitchen in the basement, which is, obviously a huge leg up in the business. Commercial kitchen in the basement, 2-year-old and 5-year-old. Like, I barely left the house in the first year. So we're renovating the house, starting the business, 2-year-old. And they're like, yeah, you got to go to Feast. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, this amazing woman, Kate Collier, started Feast. I'm like, Kate Collier, that's really weird. Is it the same one? Sure, not cooler, same person. But anyway, so got into Whole Foods at like the 6-month mark. Was in the basement. We talked about the goal and Whole Foods twice. And then started taking on employees. So my first employee, I had a coach, and I was, because of the kids, I would bake the granola in the morning and bag the granola at night after they went to bed, like until 1 o'clock in the morning. And I had a coach say to me, he's like, you didn't move to the country to live a good life, to be bagging granola at 1 o'clock in the morning. You have got to get an employee. And so I went through the whole, but I can do it as well as I can, and blah, blah, blah. I'm an employee, and it just grew. So we were running the basic for 4 years. I got a space in the Food Line Shopping Center in Palmyra, and growth expansions, et cetera. Sold the business in 22, which we'll talk about. There's a lot on this slide. I'm going to go through all of this. The things I did well, I loved having the granola business. I loved being an entrepreneur, having my own, having your purpose each day of getting up and I'm going to grow this business and having the goals and meeting those goals. For the nitty gritty, we did do wholesale, direct to consumer, Amazon, Fair, I used a distributor only for Whole Foods. We got the Whole Foods planogram. So we were in all the Whole Foods in the Mid-Atlantic. It was a great product. I mean, I will say it was good for no one. Great customer service is everything to me. Strong subscription model. So out of the direct to consumer sales, probably half of that is subscriptions. People buy it every week, every month, what have you. Fantastic team. We're very family focused, which I'll talk about. Some of the problems. But anyway, very family focused with the team. And I created systems to grow my business. So I had different processes, how I reached out to customers. So it was all of it. It was great. Financially, it was great. I loved that I got to share my knowledge with others. People would come to me, I would sit with them, talk about their business, which led to a relationship with CIC, and I was helping the CIC program. Some of the big moments, as Katie or I mentioned, I was on the Today Show in month 10. I had pitched then I think in July and never heard back. And I, did the old, follow our teams or whatever. But I knew, and some of the beliefs, like I kind of believe in like the law of attraction, like what you put out in the universe comes back to you, or just, positive thought or whatever. But I had no doubt in my mind that we were going to be on the Today Show, like zero questions. Like we pitched in July, we were on vacation, oh my gosh, like, what if we're on the Today Show while we're at the beach? What am I going to do? But it happened in September, and at the time we had a bed and breakfast at the farm as well. And this woman called, she had left her boots in the cabin. And so she called my husband. I was already down in the basement making granola. And she called and she's like, I left my boots. She had this like strong southern accent. So I left my boots, and she's like, I think your granola is on Katie's desk. And I'm like, oh my God. And they yells out, what? And sure enough, so we were on the Today Show, which was life-changing, right? So our online sales, quadrupled, more than quadrupled overnight. And some of those customers from the Today Show, like, continued to order for the next 2 years. Katie Kirk tweeted about this once. A friend, or not friends, a customer who worked for Sesame Street wrote me, and she's like, is it okay if Katie Kirk tweets about you? And I'm like, yeah, that would be just fine. Katie Kirk tweet us. And then Hilaria Baldwin, who I didn't know who it was at the time. I had one of those Google alerts if your company comes up on a Google there. Anyway, so I got this feed or this alert one morning that Hilaria Baldwin in Cosmo magazine mentioned Hudson Henry granola, and it was, if you know Hilaria Baldwin, it was like how she had lost the weight after having one of her children. And it was, first thing, 8 a.m., Hudson Henry granola for breakfast. And then they talked about her day, and then she had Hudson Henry granola, for snack or something. And I actually got more business from the Katie Kirk tweet and the Hilaria Baldwin she posted on Instagram. I got more business from that than the Today Show, which I thought was really amazing, the power of social media. And then, of course, the social reports. So I had a friend say to me once, and we'll go to things that would correlate next, but I had a friend say to me once, he's like, don't you think this has all come too easily or very easily to you? Which I think about that, and this goes back to so what. So I am trying to write a book and say, how did I, what did I do? What were the systems? And I think about with my clients, like, how can I help others and get to this stage? This, if photos wasn't everywhere, but this is putting together boxes after the Today Show orders that came through. So more importantly, like what would correlate? Stress, of course, with entrepreneurship. And just financial worries early on. I always say our first year, our motto was, if it costs money, you know, we can't do it. We stayed home a lot the first year. For those, any sort of maker or in the food business, wear and tear on your body, it's hard to stand on concrete for 6 hours a day, and, you know, the movement of dumping granola bins or what have you. I struggled a lot with employee issues, I think, but it wasn't really employee issues, it was my handling of employee issues and conflict resolution. A lot of 4 a.m. mornings, if you're an entrepreneur, you know that when you wake up at 4 and you can't get back to sleep because you're stressed out and worrying, I had a lot of that. I wasn't prepared for a lot of my big moments, and perhaps I definitely kind of screwed those up. We got into Dean and DeLuca, which was amazing, and my story there. So Dean and DeLuca actually called me out of the blue, and they're like, "Hi, this is the buyer of Dean and DeLuca. Can you send some samples?" Dean and DeLuca, I can send you some samples. And my husband got home and was like, "I'm like, guess who called?" Never gonna guess. It's like, Barack Obama. I'm like, no, better than Barack Obama. And I'm like, Dean and DeLuca called. So we were in 3 Dean and DeLucas. But I lost that. Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute, actually. I thought about it. And also Starbucks. So same thing. I went to the fancy food show, and like a week or 2 before the show, the SFA, Specialty Food Association, they organized meetings with buyers. And they reached out and were like, "Can you have a meeting with Starbucks?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can have a meeting with Starbucks." And we did a trial, and it was about a year. Didn't work out, but I think if I had handled it better, I think it could have gotten better. Things also went poorly. So made friends, lost friends. I think it's hard with employees, and you're making friends with the employees, but are you family or a team? And that's on another slide. I think that's next. You know, I lost a lot of time with the boys. We had a lot of time together. This was great. I think that's the best thing about entrepreneurship is that it's your business and you run it how you want to, and you take your days off when you want to. But I did, like, I was the one working the spring breaks and Christmas breaks and summer breaks because I want my team to have that time off. So I don't know, I think we say that in me. And I think, you know, bottom line is we all say entrepreneurship is hard. It's hard work. And not that I minded the hard work, but I don't know if that's something that went poorly. But so my lessons learned, my bachelor here, I gave the top 3 lessons. As I said, I'm not great at conflict resolution. Even something like debt collection, I would get my husband to do it. Even though, I mean, these were people that owed my company money. I just could not make those phone calls. And I think the lesson learned was, or I wish I had learned, was knowing myself and hiring for those gaps. I should have hired an operations manager and handed that off to them. I think you know, being less stressed, more hands off, would have made a big difference. As I said, I lost a great story by not being proactive. I need to be either get ready or be ready or get ready, and I don't think I leapt into action as quickly as I could have. Recognizing the moment for what it is, and having the bandwidth. I think that was it. Like I was so busy making the granola and packing and shipping. I was in the business rather than, you know, working on the business. So again, if I had an operations manager rather than trying to do everything myself. And then the hardest thing is learning how to manage a team. And even though I had managed a team in a professional setting, like at S&P, I had a team of researchers that I led. I really struggled on the employee front. You know, I loved my team, they were like family. I try to say in my head, like, they're not family, they're a team, and you can fire a team member, you can kick someone off the team. Kind of hard to fire or kick someone out of a family. So, not getting me wrong, like, fantastic team, love them. But anyway, I think that's, I could have been more professional and created more of a distance, I think, between myself and the team members. So those would be, I think, the biggest lessons. Shout out to moms, I think, or parents in general. Mom guilt is a serious thing. And I had a whole lot of mom guilt over the years. As I said, I would bake in the morning before the kids got up. Henry was 2. And then I would bag, very late, trying to squeeze in as much as I could in the middle of them. When I think about making it to $1 million in revenue, there's some people who would say that's nothing, right? It took you 10 years to get to $1 million, or it took about 8 years. It took 8 years to get to $1 million. But, I'm proud of that. I think a lot of people would be happy at that level. I deliberately kept the business at that size. I remember one year we didn't pitch any new stores the whole year because we were selling every bit of granola that we made. And Tate and I used to always say, like, oh my gosh, the business could be this big, big wide farms. But, or to finish that sentence, the business could be this big if we didn't have kids, or if we did it differently. But we did have kids, and they were number 1. So, very proud of what our family accomplished. But yeah, when I think about what I would have done differently, I don't think I would have done it differently. Like, I never took on debt, I never took on mutual investing. We never got a co-packer. Like, it was very much a small batch business. So just to wrap up quickly, so the sale of the company, we were deciding were we going to stay in the US or were we going to go to Australia. We were trying to decide if we could sell the business, keep the business, some sort of combination could have worked out. So I'm like, no, we're going to sell. And then I got nervous. I'm like, no, this is my baby. Like, how can I sell this company? I'll just keep it and let it through. And one of the interested parties, it's like, yeah, I realize that you're saying we're on hold right now, but I'm going to make an offer anyway. So anyway, long story short, we proceeded, and ultimately, like, I was ready to do something new. I was ready for a different role, a job, and I was pretty worn out. And for me, it was time. If you're thinking about selling your business, just know that it takes longer than you think. If you're a smaller business, start now, look at financials, get the bookkeeper, make sure your financial records are ready to go. And I think start removing yourself as much as possible. Get that operations manager with no capital. And something that I read, which really helped me as I was going through the mental process of selling a business, is to sell because you want to do something else, not because you're sick of your business, right? Like, go towards something rather than running away from your business. And I think I caught myself just in time. Like, I think if I had kept the business, I really would have been more worn out. I can't discuss numbers of the sale. I can say these for 7 years, but I'm happy to chat with anyone who wants to talk about selling their business, especially if you're a maker or small batch kind of business. So what am I doing now? As I mentioned, so an SBDC consultant, if you don't know SBDC, definitely connect with them. Mainly I focus on food and beverage companies. I'm a project manager with esSTEMtials CIC volunteer. Small batch empires, I have a newsletter, start that up again. And as I said, I'm writing a book about the granola years. I do think there's one more business in me, and when I want to talk about this, I have an app that I used was during the granola years to help manage and grow their wholesale customer base. So that's going to be my side gig. And that's it. So any questions, my email is there, absolutely get in touch, or through SBDC if you are a maker. Yeah. Any questions at all?
With open hands. Let's take questions. Who has questions for me? Raise your hand. Okay.
was a fantastic presentation, really cool story, I love the idea that you took a small idea and made it your own, kept it your own, especially a small local product out of the city market. I'm curious, how much did that change your trajectory? Were you already on a trajectory, or did that little phase get into it?
I don't think, I think the business went as planned. I don't know. Think about that. But yeah, I think,
Because you did say that those two social media exposures or
Right.
public exposures did more than other things that you were doing.
right.
So I think you might be going in that direction of how much impact did that have versus maybe what trajectory might have had that happened. Is that
Right. I think, sorry. I think it made me realize like the value of direct to consumer. And definitely focusing more on that part of the business. So that was probably 25% of the business, and then wholesale was 75%. It was a huge boost. And definitely got me to focus more on it. I think going back to being ready for opportunities though, I don't know if I made the most of it. I think there's a lot of businesses out there that do focus more on direct to consumer and focus on that. I focus more on wholesale, which might have been a mistake. Sorry, I don't think I can answer that too well.
Wonderful presentation. Love witnessing the entire story. I think that there's a large proportion of people that I've witnessed at least that have a financial background that pick to go into this entrepreneurial space.
Right.
As someone with I have absolutely zero financial skills whatsoever. Is there some minimum effective dose of accounting mastery, like that you could point the entrepreneur to someone starting a business so that they at least have some grip on, you know, the road ahead, the road back in terms of finance?
Sure. I think I had a great background being a product manager because it wasn't my own finance background, but I had a little bit of operations and a little bit of finance and a little bit of legal, like I did contracts with S&P. And so all of that helps in the entrepreneurial space because you wear all those different hats. So as far as like learning, like, hey, go to your SBDC, we have bookkeepers and QuickBooks folks and folks that can talk to you about financials. I don't know about like an online, I'm sure there's online resources, but definitely, yeah, if you can, understand cash flows and income statements and things like that, or just your ratios that you should be focusing on. But yeah, SBDC or finding an online, there's entrepreneur finance books or whatever, like the basics, to get a good grasp of it. Someone else might have a better resource.
The subscription model.
Yeah.
Here's that. You have a good product and you were willing to stand in line with the Carolina or post office to get out promptly, but we have some insights into building a good subscription model. What goes into that and what works for you?
Sure. So we did everything through Shopify, and they have great apps for subscription models. Customer support, I would say, was everything. Like I would take returns, there weren't that many over the years, but no questions asked. Making the customer happy. Like I knew, I'll point out, Abe traveled all this way from Lynchburg. Abe was a customer and he was a wholesale customer as well. But keeping the customer happy, and we shipped within 2 days, and normally like same day, and just getting it out the door, and making, now I'd say making the most of that, but keeping the customer happy. So the subscription, we were pretty flexible. It was every 7 days, every 14 days, every 30 days, what have you. But yeah, it just evolved. And I think also having a great product and having a product that is consumed on a regular basis, right? Like people would buy 4 bags of granola every 2 weeks type thing. which was great, as opposed to like a jar of mustard or, you know, jar of salt or whatever that lasts longer. So I don't know, I think I lucked out. Granola is, you know, very consumable repeat purchase. Yes, repeat purchases. And then, okay.
Hey, your product was great, but your company was better. And I think that's a really great distinction between the two. You're a great company to work with. But I wanted to ask you from an entrepreneur's perspective, kind of emotionally and psychologically, what was this cycle or this timeline like from being, oh, what have I got myself into, to maybe some imposter syndrome, do I can't really handle this, to hands, I'm doing this, I'm doing a great job, and then I'm gonna go teach other people how to do this.
Right, interesting. Thank you, you know, imposter syndrome, you know, even preparing for this, you know, a little bit nervous, you know, what am I gonna say? I remember being in the basement and thinking like, oh my God, Whole Foods walked in here, like we had probably 1,000 square feet. Again, imagine like this old 1830s farmhouse. I had like 12 employees working in this basement, like in granola. We started at 6 o'clock in the morning. So when did I become confident? I think, I knew I had a good product, right? And I did have that strong background of being a product manager. I don't know, I don't think I was ever nervous about the business. Yeah, I mean, and I do think it wasn't hard, like growing the business. So I don't know, I think the imposter syndrome was more perhaps like my facility and like, oh, I'm not big enough. Good story was like applying for Ce2 awards. I didn't apply for Ce2 awards, like I had a bag before the permanent labels. It was just a bag with a sticker, right? And I was like, oh, you know, tiny. And I didn't apply for a Ce2 award. The first year that I applied for a Ce2 award, we won 2 awards. Like we got the silver and the bronze the first year. And I remember talking to someone at the Fancy Food Show. And she was like, you got 2 Ce2 awards. I'm like, yeah. She's like, what category? I'm like, granola. And she's like, no, which categories? I'm like, no, I got silver and bronze, like in the same category. And she's like, that's unheard of. So I don't know, but again, I didn't think that I was good enough. And I was talking to Rebecca Haydock with SBDC. I didn't come to the SBDC because I didn't think that we were big enough, right? Which is crazy. So I don't know. I'm sure there was imposter syndrome all throughout, but I do love talking with other entrepreneurs, and that was my passion, really. So yeah, I just started the best I could.
I just appreciate your story about being a mom and building a business. I quit my job and started my business when my baby was 2 months old.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Raising a baby and growing a business at the same time. I mean, I was an hour late because I had a preschool drop off, but it's trying to fit in those kind of pockets of the day. I would love to hear how you dealt with the balance of assuming you started the business to be more of a mom, but then also struggling with wanting to grow a business and having mom. I mean, it's literally going back and forth and hour by hour. So
Yeah. It was really tough. Like that's why I was back in granola at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like I didn't want to miss anything during the day, and if I did, I felt guilty about it. We had a beautiful, again, 1830s farmhouse. We had a beautiful yard and we had a swimming pool. And so my husband was out there with the kids and I'm, baking granola. So I don't know, there was a lot of conflict and a lot of, on my part really, wanting to be out there, but having to work. But like I said, I wanted this to be $1 million business. And so I loved the business, right? I was very passionate about the goal. So I don't know, you just have to find the balance. I was talking to someone the other day and I was like, your gut will tell you. And your gut will help you know what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And so for me, it was not growing a huge business because I didn't want to take away any more time from the family than I was already doing, right? But yeah, you just have to, you find those moments to work and you're bagging the griddle at 1 o'clock or whatever. And kids get older, right? So they were 2 and 5 when I started and 15 and 12 when I ended. So that was a huge difference. But yeah, just do your best. I'm happy to chat with you afterwards, yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I have a kind of more tactical question. We don't know the answer to this, it's been so long, I understand, but when you first started the business, I'm curious kind of what your LTV to CAC was and how you positioned your pricing against your competitors. And then after you were on today's show, you started getting all this volume. How did that LTV to CAC change and how did you keep up with like cash flow and obviously the increased volume? Because I know when any business scales, like it can cause more profits.
Right. Okay, your first expression. So what was that? LTV?
Your lifetime value to your cost to acquire.
Yeah, I had no idea. No idea. And I never changed my pricing. Like, so we were $7.99 per bag of granola for 10 years. Like, Abe's like, and I never changed my wholesale pricing. So it's something I could have done maybe better perhaps. I never changed during COVID. We were profitable. Again, I started with a commercial kitchen in the basement, right? So we were profitable at like 6 months into it. I put $5,000 into the business. That was a loan from the Lawrences. And then within 6 months, the company paid back the Lawrences. But I didn't take a penny out of the business the first year. So everything just went back in and, it's really great. So yeah, I don't think I can really answer that one, but.
All right, we need to transition, but thank you so much, Hope, and her contact information, please hold on to Gina.
Yep.
Please reach out to her with more questions, and she's going to be around to you for a few more minutes after as well. And so, thank you so much. To end with is hearing from our customer organizations, and then we're going to have announcements. So announcements are going to be if your company is hiring or if there's any events that you'd like the students to know about, you have the opportunity to share. And so let's start with somebody. Who's going to do this? I'll start. Okay. All right. The SPDC.
Hi, my name is Shira Goldstein. I am the events coordinator with the Central Virginia Small Business Development Center, or CBSBC. I'm very familiar with that. Ariel Bretter is also in that corner, and she's one of our assistant directors and business advisors. So if you want to learn more from us, feel free to find us. Really quickly, I will say that this is going to have to run pretty soon because she has a quick sermon for them.
Oh.
But if you want to talk to her, you don't have time, let me know, we'll get you connected. But about SPDC, we are part of a national network, America's SPDCs, that have about 1,000 offices across the country. Here in Virginia, we have a state network of 27 offices that serve the entire state. Every county, city, town has an SPDC that it is associated with. And in Charlottesville, we cover the city of Charlottesville and the surrounding counties. So chances are you're all part of the territory, except for the but we do have the SPDC. We have expert business advisors that do free and confidential one-on-one business advising. Hope happens to be one of them. Ariel is another, and we have subject matter experts in marketing, record keeping, access to capital. We have a retired SBA lender with 40+ years of experience. So pretty much any topic we can think of, we have an advisor. And if we don't in our office, we have access to our entire state network. So we have specialty programs for international business development, craft beverage assistance, and ICAP, which is the Innovation Commercialization Assistance Program, is often a popular one with this crowd. It goes through the startup model and focuses on customer discovery a lot. So primarily utilized by tech startups and high growth potential companies. So if you're interested in any of that, please let us know if we.
Your email's up there.
Or my emails up there, parts of that. And then a couple of things we have coming up on April 2nd, we have an event with the University of Virginia Office of Procurement. So we're doing a program about to the University of Virginia, so if we're interested in getting contracting with the VA and how to get into that. It's hard to get in, but once you're in, you're in. So we got that program coming up on April 2nd. And that's the last one. So thank you all, and
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm Operations Coordinator at CIC, or Community Investment Collaborative. We are a nonprofit that helps small businesses and entrepreneurs, specifically underserved entrepreneurs, and we do that through financing, mentoring, and education. So we do microloans up to $50,000, and we have a financial management program, a mentorship program. We also have a small co-working space, and we are the host organization of the Central Virginia Small Business Development Center. And yes, we confuse people all the time with all of the acronyms. If you have any questions about our organization, feel free to come back afterwards and also sign up for newsletters. The only announcement that we have is we are hiring currently for a loan portfolio manager. If you're interested in this position, you can go to our website at cscbill.org and check that out. We're also hiring for another position whose name I can't remember, so if you're curious about that one, you can also find it on our website. And let's see, everyone here probably knows about TomTom already, but we do help with crowdfunded pitch night, which is Wednesday, April 17th. So if you haven't already registered for that, I definitely encourage you to do that. I think that's all that we have. Everyone did a great job with registering today. Everyone who did register, everybody is on the list here. Everybody just kidding. But if you forgot today, it'd be helpful for next time. And I believe I did actually remember, my colleague remembered some business cards today. So if you want to be the proud owner of business cards that are remembered to bring with me, you can also feel free to stop at the table for that reason. So thank you.
hi, I'm Navya, I'm the Deputy Director at Ce2, which is also the Business Innovation Council. Our mission is to educate, advocate, and celebrate technology innovation in our region. We're really to convene and reconvene tech ecosystem and connect people to each other, to resources that they need for an entrepreneurial support organization. And I wanted to call out a couple of events we have coming up. So next month on the second Tuesday, we have our Tech on Tap with the Twist. It won't be at Shaky, which is the normal location. It's going to be at the Dairy Market on Avenue. And the Twist is that they're trying to support our recent grads to BBA. This is an event we're hosting in collaboration with Ce2. So coming out on the second Tuesday to Brady Avenue this time with Dairy Market. And then going forward, we always start second Tuesdays on tap at Shaky monthly. And of course, this event that you're at here today is those Tuesdays monthly, usually. And I am also going to talk about TomTom. We have an event, an inaugural new event that Ce2 is putting together for the fall of 2024 called the Innovation Forum. We set a topic for this year is going to be sustainable, innovative, affordable built environments. And we have sort of a preview of that at a panel at TomTom. We're going to have panelists and having a great discussion and Q&A on that topic about innovative materials and methods in the built environment. That's going to be on the April 17th webinar, which should be a common house. So it's been on the TomTom schedule. And if you are an architect or a designer or an innovator or disruptor in that space, or if you're interested in sponsoring or exhibiting at the event, giving a lightning talk, etc., in October, please do find me and have to be able to connect up. We're still in the planning stages. But that event will be October 25th at North Fork. It's called the Central Virginia Innovation Forum. And we have tickets on sale for our 25th annual Ce2 Awards Gala coming up on Thursday, May 30th. So we can't believe we've been doing this for 25 years. Super exciting. It'll be a great event. And that's part of our Celebrate our mission. So we're trying to recognize the regional innovators, employer of the year, business of the year, student entrepreneur of the year, all the things. So that's what the best of this one is now.
Here, that was really fun, we're gonna have some fun with this week. So if you have, if your company is hiring, or if you have an event similar to what you heard that you'd like to know about, you can stand up and share, just project them on the last one, you don't have to necessarily, but go ahead and just project.
Hello, everybody, my name is Justin. On November 9th at the Jefferson Theater, hosting Millionaire Out Summit. Basically, four home service people that are I love home service entrepreneurs. I got guys from all over the country. Sometimes some of their local is fun for $100. I got a couple other guys in that same space. So we're trying to learn from some very, very high level entrepreneurs. November 9th, on that planet. That's thinking about it. Be a really good event.
Right, and as you can kind of adjust it if you want more information on that. Who else? Irene? Go ahead. Awesome. I am a recruiter by profession, lots of different types of roles, but also went out and looking for somebody coming out of finance who could be pretty green and year or two in the industry that is more operational, maybe aspire to be your CFP, to support our management team. So talk to me if you know anyone in that kind of space. It's fully remote role actually, so somebody can be in our country. Okay. So, a couple of things just to wrap up. We'll be back to the third Tuesday of each month. So April 16th is actually during the week of the Tom Festival, so that might be easy to remember. We'll be right back here. Make sure you're here. And for those of you guys that are here for the first time, if you grab anything of these you saw here, and that's how you heard about this event today. We'd love to know what marketing channels are effective in creating the awareness of the events. And make sure you come back, just put a recurring on the calendar the third Tuesday of the month. And we are going to speakers on it for next month, but they're not on top of my head right now. But other thing I'll say real quick is we do always have coffee flowing when you get here at 8. It's just a little bit of staffing that I think with the coffee company. And so trust that it will be your blood, and really surprised for saying reliable coffee ideas, because unfortunately, not the first time it's really good. So, if you have some open minded to those, but yeah, but it's important to us to be caffeinated when we come. So, we'll look forward to seeing you guys in the third week of April. Bring your friends, let people know, and have an awesome rest of the lunch.